This episode is brought to you by Airbnb. Hi, Boshi.
Hi, Sufi.
We ate it pretty hard the other day.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It was in the fly.
We did.
You know, we said the Fosters were our first siblings, Aaron and Sarah, and we forgot the Haim sisters.
Maybe it's because there were just three of them.
I think it was because there were three of them. I was just trying to think of pairs of siblings.
Yeah. I also, I guess this is an excuse, but I have a terrible memory.
Yeah, I do too.
So you don't. I feel like you deserve more blame for this than I do. I feel like everyone would expect me to forget, and you would be like, "Oh no, this happened."
I have a good memory for something. I'm almost certain a minute ago I told my son Axel that I needed 10 minutes.
Yeah, Axel.
We'll talk if you're going to be here. Talk. Say something.
Yes, I'm here.
You don't have to talk that loud, Axel.
If you want to be here, you have to say something interesting.
Okay.
All right, Axel, we're talking about family vacations.
Are you talking about the wedding?
No, we're not talking. Are you excited to go to Pashi's wedding?
Yeah.
What are you going to do there?
I don't know.
You going to dance? How many teeth are you missing right now?
One.
Just one? Looks like it's a big one. Looks like it's a significant tooth that you're missing.
No, there was a big gap already.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It's like this big.
Your father once had 11 teeth pulled out of his mouth at one time when he was getting his braces
Which
on.
one?
I had what's known as a shark's mouth.
Do you look scary?
I did look scary.
How scary? Like this?
Yeah.
That's
Scarier than that even. That's pretty scary. I don't know if he looked that scary.
That's pretty scary.
That was Axel, everybody. So we blew it on saying first siblings. We just shouldn't even say that anymore. We should, now that we know we've had married couples, we blew that for the record. When we said first married couple, we were wrong about that. We said first siblings. We just shouldn't even try
We should stop. Yeah, we should stop with no research in real time trying to make broad pronouncements about the pod.
Yeah, because also what's to be gained?
Yeah. I'm pretty confident that's the first time Axel has totally derailed an intro to one of our podcasts.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to say.
Yeah, I'm not willing to say either. So there's something I loved this week that I just want to bring up. He's from our neck of the woods, a hero of ours. Adam Sandler has a new Netflix special.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm excited about it.
There was a part where I laughed so hard, Addie came into the room crying because she thought something was wrong with me. And that's pinnacle comedy, where you're just laughing so hard that a child thinks, you're being attacked or you're having some sort of respiratory attack.
Yeah. I have not an entirely dissimilar thing, but my dog Woody, when I sneeze a lot, and our father, huge sneezer. Big sneezer. I'm a big sneezer, big loud sneezer. But my dog Woody will cry when I sneeze.
Really?
Yeah, and just look at me like, what is happening to you?
I'm going to tell you what just happened to me. I can see out a window.
Mm-hmm.
And I just removed Axel from the room and I locked the door. And I just saw him run by the window. And then I saw him run back by with a pair of pliers. Which means that right now I have a 6-year-old. I know for a fact is using a tool on a lock.
Yeah.
Probably damaging it pretty badly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. The important thing is I'm the only parent. There's not a second parent for these 3 children. Who could, during my podcast, keep them away from the tools.
Well, that's the danger. You guys, your stepfather lives next door there, and
Father-in-law. My father-in-law.
Father-in-law.
Yeah.
And that guy's got some tools laying around and likes to
Lot
show
of
the
tools.
kids how to use them. So now they're probably just dipping into his kit.
I do at this moment feel as though I'm trying to finish a podcast. It would be like if Shelley Duvall's character in The Shining was doing a podcast in the bathroom while Jack Nicholson was axing the door down. And by that I mean, while I'm keeping my cool, I do feel as though it's best right now for us to transition into the episode.
Sure.
Which we recorded earlier at a simpler time.
Yeah, we sure did with someone that we both love, been big fans of for a long, long time. And
yeah, her name's Amy Ryan. She has a lot of names, but Amy Ryan's the one you know her best as. And now I'm having a mental breakdown right now. He's now screaming outside the window and he has a hose. And now he's spraying water against the window.
Maybe we should just get to the episode, too.
Let's get to the episode. And you know what, Jeff Tweedy, calm me down.
Family trips with the Meyers brothers. Family trips with the Meyers brothers. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, Seth. How are you? Hi, Josh.
Good.
Thanks for having me on.
No,
It's
thanks
so
for joining us.
Wonderful to see you.
Same here. I'm so sorry. I won't get to see you in person.
Oh,
next week or
it's
so, but-
totally fine. Are you East Coast or West Coast right now?
East.
Good. You're one of our favorite East Coast actors. I don't feel good when you're in LA, and I'm gonna venture you don't feel good when you're in LA.
I am not my best self when I'm in
Yeah.
LA.
Same here.
I'm
Same
better
here.
in my skin over here. Yeah.
Josh thrives as a West Coaster, so
I do.
It's
I
not.
I feel like I thrive anywhere that I am. But
Okay,
Oh,
well.
what's your secret?
I don't know. Just
or not a secret? What have you published about this?
I've published nothing. But I don't know. I just try to make the best of whatever situation I'm in. But but I do enjoy Los Angeles. I'm not. I've
You
never
were raised well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know
But
about you.
raised in the woods of New Hampshire. So
Oh, there you go.
And
Yeah.
you're Queens. You grew up in Queens, Amy?
I grew up in Queens, but I also feel like I grew up not far from you guys because I spent every summer in southern Vermont. My mom and dad we'd drop us off at my aunt's house, and we got to run free for the entire summer.
So this is
So-
fascinating. They wouldn't spend the summer at your aunt's house. They just dropped you off.
Yeah, because they worked. My
Yeah.
parents both worked 9 to 5. I don't know. They didn't have much time off, so it was like the sprinkler on, our 6 by 8 inch lawn,
Right.
6 foot by 8 foot lawn, or our neighbors above ground, which was pretty fantastic. Figure 8, aluminum sided pool
Wow.
that every kid in the neighborhood swam in.
yeah.
That was summer, or go to Vermont. So Vermont seemed better choice.
And it was you and 2 older sisters?
2 older sisters, yeah.
And so the
And-
3 of you, and with this, you would all pack into a car.
We'd pack into my parents' Lincoln Continental.
Ooh, we had a Lincoln Continental.
Fancy, right?
Yeah.
it's like
Lincoln
2 couches.
Continental was
2
like what I
couches.
thought. That's what I thought wealth looked like. Was
Same.
yeah.
Same. It was fancy, and no seatbelts, of course, because that was the 1970s. And but lots of room. And yeah, we would be we'd ride up to Vermont 4 hours. Felt like it took forever, and then summer started.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And were you all equally excited about this trip, you and your sisters?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because they had horses, they had dogs, they had chickens. And then when we were teenagers, my aunt and uncle bought the local KREE-MEE stand.
Oh my God.
And so there were fast food burgers and soft served ice cream, and we all worked there. And so it was, we really thought we hit it big up there.
Is
I mean,
that
that's
still in the
incredible.
family, that KREE-MEE stand?
No, everyone's gone from Vermont. It's
Okay.
gone. I think it's a gas station now. It's so sad.
My
All those
my
things
fiance
going.
is from Western Massachusetts, and I had never heard the term "creamy" until I started going there, and I find it very disconcerting. As a,
I don't think I was thinking Creamy Stand was a branding, but that is just a type of ice cream
it's
place?
soft serve.
Oh.
It's soft serve, and it's I don't like when places advertise and they misspell on purpose.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cars for kids drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
with a
drives
C.
everyone crazy. That's
And-
part of the idea.
And I don't know if creamy is a real word, but it was spelled KREE-MEE.
That's incredible. Why?
Is that a
Why?
real word?
I mean,
don't
yeah,
know.
no.
I don't know, but I don't know if it's spelled with a C is a real word either. So
Do you think the hope
Creamy.
there is that kids will, kids who are learning to read will know how to say creamy if it's that spelling earlier than if it has the Y? Because I feel like
Yeah,
the branding is like you want your
Yeah.
kids to scream creamy, and
cream,
then you
or
may force you.
it's creamy,
Yeah,
creamy. I don't know.
cream-eye. I feel like if a kid
cream-eye.
said that. Yeah, that's no good.
Perhaps, but
That seems like so course of the summer. If you spend a whole summer working at a creamy stand, I'm assuming you're
Yeah.
having a fair share of soft serve yourself. Are you sick of it by the end of the summer?
You're sick of it. Yeah. You're sick of it, and you've put on 10 pounds as a teenager and a face full of zits, and then you go back home to school.
They say the problem is the end of the summer they can't get you out the door of the creamy stand.
Yeah.
Did you work there as well?
I work there. It's actually the only other job I've had other than being an actor. But,
Which were you? Which was your calling?
Oh, you did both. You did both. It depended what customer. If they were, someone would pull up and they'd go to the ice cream window, or they'd go to the burger window. So
Gotcha.
you would, left or right. What's it going to be? But yeah, we all worked there. It was fun.
What's the age gap with you and your sisters?
I'm the youngest of the three of us, and there's my middle sister's 3 years older, and my other sister's 5 years older, and then
Oh,
our
that's a pretty-
cousins kind of align in the same ages as well.
That's a pretty big gap. Did you guys get along well?
I think with three, there's, the triangle keeps shifting. So there's a time
Yeah.
when you in the middle are closer in interests, and then I got kicked to the side as my middle sister was more of a teenager and hung out with my older sister. But now it's all leveled out. In
Yes.
our 50s, it all levels out.
Was there ever a time when the middle sister was left out, and you and the eldest?
That's a
We're
good
tighter?
question. I feel like she was always the connective tissue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the middle has to get something.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
That's funny. You do at some point. You're like, being a connective tissue is underrated as a nice thing for a middle to have.
Yeah, our time in Vermont was, we were left to kind of roam free, but that really wasn't our vacation. Vacation time was, and maybe because we had to work, we worked at the Creamy, but we would go. My mom, I'm kind of jumping, so sorry, forgive
No,
me if I
please.
shouldn't be doing this. My mom was a nurse, and she wanted to travel. And at one point in her life, she thought she'd be a flight attendant, but you couldn't be married and have kids then. Which is an insane rule back then. But so my mom took her nursing degree and applied to American Airlines at LaGuardia Airport, where there's a little infirmary. I think it's still there. And it was just for pilots and other American Airlines staff. But that would give her a travel allowance. And she could take a family of 5, plus her parents who lived nearby. And we'd go to the Caribbean or Mexico every spring break from school. And, but this time always fell over my birthday. And so I was always irate that I couldn't stay home in Queens and have a birthday party. My 10-year-old self is like, why are we going to St. Croix? Why are we going to Bermuda? But it would cost, I asked my mother recently, she said it only cost $20 per person.
Wow.
And she did this specifically. She was thinking ahead of the game. I will be a LaGuardia nurse for the purposes of these travel vouchers.
I think she did enjoy nursing very much,
Yeah.
but that was definitely a job perk that was
Right.
a total win for her. So she loved to travel. So, she would take off when she could, but when
That's
it was
awesome.
a family affair, we would go and get sunburned beyond belief with our,
Yes.
Band de Soleil number 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors. Support for family trips comes from Draftkings. Hey, Pashi.
Yeah, Sufi.
Football season.
Woo, it's here.
And I'm very excited to place some bets on DraftKings. And sometimes people can get a little intimidated. Maybe they don't know who's going to win the game, what the spread is, over, under. But you can just bet on who you think's going to score a touchdown.
Yeah, you know who usually does? Stars.
Stars. Bet for your favorite star and see what happens. Or, you know what? Bet for one of your lesser-known players where the odds are higher. It's very
Yeah.
exciting. And you know what? Everybody's already a little bit excited when there's a touchdown, but now you're juicing it because now your
Oh
guy
my gosh,
crosses
yeah.
the goal line.
You'll really be celebrating. There's a celebration when a touchdown is scored, but if you're cashing in on DraftKings, whole different ballgame.
Now, of course, I bet on Steelers to score touchdowns. And this year, the odds might be pretty high because the experts are saying the Steelers might score 2-3 touchdowns tops this entire season. Looks like I'm about to get paid. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FAMILYTRIPS. That's code FAMILYTRIPS for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium.
Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org.
Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms. Support for family trips comes from True Nutrition. Hey, Pashi.
Yeah, Sufi.
It's no secret that many health supplements contain fillers and even harmful chemicals. That's why I'm excited to talk to you about True Nutrition, because you have experienced the thrill.
I have. You know, it's important to get some good protein in your diet every day. And there's a lot of protein powders out there, but you're sort of not in charge of what they put into them, and you just have to trust that whatever they've done is going to be right for you. But True Nutrition lets you customize your protein powder. You can start with a pea protein. You can start with whey protein. You can be very specific on what it is you want. Then you can add in little boosters. You can add in some like cordyceps mushrooms if that's your deal. You can add in like a health boost.
I made mine, and they said a good name for it would be the fungi, and then they told me yours, a good name would be the killjoy.
Well, maybe this is Killjoy, but you can also add so many different delicious flavors. But when I'm getting a protein powder, I sort of don't want a flavor, so I just choose I don't want a flavor. So I guess that's a Killjoy. But because I flavor things up once I get them on my own. But if you wanted something like a chai latte,
Whey.
whey.
You can finally stop worrying if your supplements are doing more harm than good. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off your entire order when you use code TRIPS at checkout. That's 15% off your order at TrueNutrition.com with promo code TRIPS. Take the guesswork out of nutrition with True Nutrition.
Here we go.
What about, when is your birthday? Because I have a spring break child.
I'm
and
May.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So we have a March, so it's like the early spring, but he's never in school.
And does he
And-
regret that? Is he mourning
So
friends?
mad.
Yeah.
So mad. Yeah.
So do you celebrate his birthday?
No,
a week later?
We tell him if it didn't happen during school, it doesn't count. It just doesn't get one.
He's still
Well,
0
that's
years
fair.
Yeah, he's still 0 years old.
Nice. Or you're going to have to bring the friends with him. That'll be the next one.
So when you guys would go to the Caribbean, would all the girls share a room?
Oh, I think the whole family shared a room. It wasn't
Gotcha.
It wasn't that much of a perk of a
It's
job.
like $20 for the
Where-
flight, and then on the rooms, we're going to try to make 20 as well.
There's 2 beds we could fit. Yeah, I'm sure it's the 3 of us and maybe my grandparents. But I remember this one place we went to. I think it's still in operation. But I thought, talk about like feeling fancy with the Lincoln Continental. We stayed at this hotel in Mexico, in Acapulco, called the Princess Hotel. And there was this giant pool, or so it felt giant when I was a kid, and you swam through a waterfall.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the other side of the waterfall was a bar. It was like a bar with stone stools, and they were somehow on dry land, which always blew my mind. I couldn't figure out how that was possible. But we would swim through, and you'd just order Coca-Colas all day long. And honestly, I don't think we ever got out of that pool, but I know we were hopped up on a lot of soda. So I'm sure us, along with every other child in that pool.
Right, exactly.
was, peeing away. But that was such a spectacular place. And I wonder what my daughter would think of it now, going back, or, if it is as magical as I thought it was. But
I do love just the design that goes into making something like that, and realizing that so many people from places like Queens or anywhere where there are no waterfalls loves the idea of going under one to a bar, and that will be the thing that they will take away from a trip. And it's just really lovely.
oh, right. Yeah. That it's that innovation. And that's something you show off when you go home. You're right, not the culture and not the different food you ate, but that you can get a Coca-Cola while swimming. You never have to get out of your bathing suit and dry off to go get a Coca-Cola. Oh my God, yeah.
Were you mostly pool people when you went on these trips, or were the beaches also a draw?
I would both, but to this day, I look at the ocean and I go in ankle deep or maybe knee deep, because my ocean experience as a kid going through the washer, tumble dry.
Yeah.
We had swimming lessons in Vermont, but nothing prepares you for an ocean. And as a kid, you just think, you just dive right in, and you pay the price. But I was turned upside down. So I'm pretty, I like to say I'm respectful of the ocean, and that's my way of hiding the word that I'm terrified of the ocean. So I respect Mother Nature's ocean. So I'm going to stand back here and marvel in her awe.
Yeah.
But no, I like a good calm Caribbean sea. I like pools.
Yeah.
A lake.
I
would
like
assume
lakes.
Vermont was probably pretty lake forward.
Lake forward, cold,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
clean, and you can't see the bottom, but still, there aren't sharks there.
Yeah.
No sharks in a lake.
Which parents would come? Was it your mom's or your dad's parents that would join you guys?
My mom's parents. My mom's parents lived 5 blocks from us, so we would see them more often than my dad's parents, who also lived in Queens, but they were further out.
Were they sort of, as you got older, was that just a house you would be able to stroll over to on your own?
Yes, it was. Well, we would go once a week for dinner, and it was on the way home, walking home from school. So you'd stop into Grandma and Grandpa's, and it was. My grandparents were both really fun. Their basement was, again, these, look, it's these bars. Oh my God. Suddenly I hear a theme coming into my grandparents' basement. They refinished it and all this wood paneling. They had a pool table. They had rattan furniture. They had a bar. It was like that. It would look amazing in some 1950s retro magazine, the photo shoot of it. But it was, so we would go there and play pool, just kind of play in the basement. There was darts, things like that. So they were a big social, outgoing.
Yeah,
set of
gotta say,
grandparents.
I feel I'm going to guess this was, it sounds like maybe a middle-class family. Is that a fair guess to say?
Definitely, yeah.
I think if you have a bar in your basement, you're living like a king. It is just royalty. And I feel like I just feel like you've hacked the code. And I recently was doing a show in New Mexico, and a friend of mine lives in Santa Fe from college. And I went over to his house afterwards, and he had a bar in his basement. And I just thought, this is nicer than the Ritz-Carlton. Like, to be in a basement with a bar is just the best.
A basement and bar. And I don't know where my grandparents came up with that, because I don't even think they were big drinkers. I think, I know my grandmother was happy to have her youngest son and his friends. This is the 60s. She was like, she wanted them in the basement doing whatever they were doing. And I don't know what she was really looking out and observing and taking care of, or, but just knowing it was somehow contained. But they would also, I feel like my mother's, she was in her 20s, and certainly my grandparents, they would dress up a lot to go out to dinner. And you see those old photographs from, like a souvenir photo from the restaurant. But they would dress up to go to the basement. There are photos of my grandparents like done up. That's a marvel to me, but they just took pride in their appearance, and
it's so funny. It's so funny to think of a parent saying, "You're going to the basement dressed like that."
Would they have friends over and entertain? Like, would it be like a couple couples are coming over and?
They would have, there were parties. There were, I'm just, because I see photographs, in like family albums. There are, Halloween parties and all the, costumed parties. And, but when we went over when we would go over to her house for like a Christmas or something, I don't think we went to the basement though. Suddenly that was now family time, and we're in the little living room sitting next to the tree. Yeah. I don't have memories of just family events in the basement.
Did you ever, when you became of drinking age, or whenever you maybe started drinking? I started before you were allowed to, but would you have friends and bring them over to your grandparents' basement, or was that that would be crossing a line?
No, definitely didn't do that. I did have, in the 5th grade, I had a dance party, which, and then the winner got a 45. I handed out a 45 record.
I feel like for our maybe younger listeners, that's an album. Which sounds more like, now in this day and age, it sounds more like you gave someone a handgun.
or like, was it Colt 45?
Yeah, right.
I handed out some 40. Yeah, I gave them oh my God, yeah. It was a record that played 2 songs, 2 sides, 2 songs, but that was the prize. I think I was host and judge of the dance party.
I'd say as is only fair. Yeah. It's your grandparents' bar. You get to make the rules.
Yeah.
Ryan is not your last name.
No.
Can you pronounce it for me? Because I'm looking at it, and I can see why you switched it to Ryan for the purposes of being an actor.
Yeah. It's Jivinkowski. But I met someone once whose grandmother was Polish, and they said, tell my grandma your last name. And I said, Jivinkowski. She says, no, Jivinkowski. I'm like, well, sure.
I find Polish names, when you look at them written out, you're like, this is going to take forever to say. And then someone says it, and it's like, oh, no, it comes right out.
Yeah, I had someone once say to me, they go, you need to get your ass on Wheel of Fortune and buy yourself a vowel. It's all consonants, all consonants.
Yeah. It's like almost like Polish is existing to just make a home for all the lesser used consonants.
I think so. That and lesser used deli meats, like kibasi, pierogies, kibasi.
But I guess that's your dad's side. Was your mom's side?
Yeah, my dad's side. My dad is, we had some doozy of names. My dad is Polish and Irish. His grandmother was Hussey. So guess I could say my grandmother was a hussy.
Yep.
And
technically.
technically. And my mother's side is Irish and English. They came from the Isle of Man in London.
Oh, great. Did you, how did you land on Ryan?
Ryan is my mother's name.
Oh,
So great. Now you know my banking code. This is really excellent. Yeah. No, I knew I didn't want to, it felt odd to me. You know, we had names like, because our name was so impossible growing up, but by the, so I'm the third of, 2 older sisters. So my time going through school, the teachers knew my name by then. So that was no problem. But on our block growing up, everyone knew our long name, but nobody wanted to deal with that. And so my dad just picked a new name for us. We were known as the Parkers. I'm Amy Parker. I am Amy Parker to a large group of people. I'm Amy Jimikowski to schoolmates. I'm Amy Ryan as an actor, and I'm Amy Slovin. My husband Eric Slovin.
Yes, yeah.
So I have many alter egos going.
That's really so. The Parker. When was the decision made? Like, how old were you when he decided we were going to be the Parkers?
He had an aunt that he really loved, and her last name was Parker, and he just took that. I was, as young as I can remember walking and talking. We were both.
Wow.
We were both, yeah. So
I guess it helps as an actor. It probably helps to like at an early age be basically presenting as 3 different people.
It's like, exactly. Just trying it all.
You did know young that this is what you wanted to do. And did your parents see it in you and support it?
I knew young. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I liked, probably just getting attention at the dinner table, making everybody laugh and yeah, they were. My mother was really supportive. She liked theater and she liked going to dance class herself. And, but we didn't have any reference for it growing up. There was no one else in our family or our neighborhood who did it. There were a few along the way, like my 6th grade teacher went to the high school performing arts when she was a kid. So I started like hearing things along the way, my mother as well. So they didn't like certainly push me into it. They didn't pull me from it. They were just like, okay, what's, this, see how this goes. So after my career at the KREE-MEE, but that wasn't going to take off. So
would you ever go into the city and see shows?
Oh yeah, all the time. We'd go to the TKTS booth and we'd see mostly musicals, which I liked, but I knew I had no place there. Even as a young kid, I was like, I can't do that. But I don't know, something connected there. It was kind of it was hard to understand, but I knew I didn't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
So that's what when I'm asked now, younger people say, they want to do this. I'm like, well, what else can you think of you might be good at? If anything else, do that. And if not, try this. But I don't discourage people because I'm so grateful I wasn't discouraged, Every once in a while, do you ever like, and maybe like younger too, in earlier in your career when you weren't recognized, like I would be on a flight somewhere and, maybe I was flying business or first class because I had a job suddenly, and I'd ultimately be stuck next to some business guy who would, oh, what do you do? You're an actor. And immediately they would say, oh, that's such a tough job. That's such a tough industry. Everything was so negative about it.
Yeah.
And I would just say, whether it was true or not at the time, I was like, oh no, I got to tell you, it's great. I said, I get to travel. I make a lot of money. I meet interesting people. I like, and these are times I'm dead broke. I have no job. But I was like, fuck you. Don't tell me this is the worst thing in the world. What are you doing? You're flying Ohio.
It's so true. You would never say if someone's like, I'm in finance, you would never be like, oh, tough job.
Tough job.
It seems like a lot of numbers.
All that cocaine. all those hot women trying to date you. Like, what? Oh, it must be terrible for you. So I always enjoyed bursting their bubble.
That's good. I like that you were. It was like sort of like. I like that it was like. What's it called? Like there's something not like viral marketing, but I like that you were like just very like one at a time trying to grassroots that acting is a great job on flights across America.
That's right. My
And then, like,
grassroots campaign.
Some corporate lawyer gets home and says to his wife, like, I feel like I blew it. Feels like acting's where the fun is.
He joins an improv group. His family falls apart.
Did you guys would all 5 of you go to plays together? Would you was it like a family affair? Like we're going to go into New York City and see a musical?
Pretty much. It depends.
Yeah.
Like if my sisters weren't that into it as much. So it had to be big. Like Grease is a family affair.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, Doug Henning, The Magic Show was a family affair. Chorus line, that was for me. Oh, I love that one. So it was a little haphazard, but it wasn't. My sisters were more athletic. I think they enjoyed that more, doing sports.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors.
Support for family trips comes from LinkedIn ads. Hey, Pashi.
Yes, Ufi.
Do you know what B2B means?
Business to business.
Business to business. And if you're a business-to-business marketer, you know how noisy the ad space can be. If your message isn't targeted to the right audience, it just disappears into the noise, Pashi.
Ooh, well, with LinkedIn ads, you can precisely reach the professionals who are more likely to find your ad relevant. With LinkedIn's targeting capabilities, you can reach them by job title, industry, company, and more.
Stand out with LinkedIn ads and start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today.
You'll have direct access to and build relationships with decision makers, 1 billion members, 130 million decision makers, and 10 million C-level executives.
You know, sometimes mom and dad used to dance B2B, but that meant back to back. Do you remember? They put on some disco.
Yeah. And when they were getting frisky, they might go butt to butt.
Start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. We'll even give you a $100 credit in your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/familytrips to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/familytrips. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be.
To be.
Support comes from DeleteMe. Hey, Bashi.
Yes, Sufi.
You know there's this guy walking around L.A., takes his dog out for a walk every day, trying to pass himself off as me.
What?
Yeah.
How's he doing that?
I think it's you.
What? No way, man.
Yeah. Because that's what people like you can do. When you look just like me and sound just like me, but other people don't need to look and sound like you. They can just steal your information online.
Yeah, it's spooky out there. Because data brokers, they make a profit off of your data. Your data's a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. That can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, harassment, and unwanted spam calls. But now you can protect your privacy with DeleteMe.
That's why I personally recommend you choose DeleteMe. DeleteMe is a subscription service that removes your personal info from hundreds of data brokers.
Sign up and provide DeleteMe with exactly what information you want deleted, and their experts take it from there.
DeleteMe isn't just a one-time service. DeleteMe is always working for you, constantly monitoring and removing the personal information you don't want on the internet.
Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe, now at a special discount for our listeners.
Today, get 20% off your DeleteMe plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/trips and use promo code TRIPS at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/trips and enter code TRIPS at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/trips. Code, tell them, Posh.
TRIPS. No one believes you're walking a dog in Los Angeles.
Hey, I guess that's true. Family Trips is supported by Airbnb. Hey, Poshy.
Yes, Sufi.
You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule comes out, and we just immediately, you, me, mom, dad, start trying to find our weekend.
Yeah, we look in that calendar, and then, we sort of throw our marker down.
And then once we throw our marker down, our next stop is Airbnb, because we, last year, famously, all stayed together under one roof in a wonderful home in Pittsburgh. Years before, we'd done hotels, and it just was such a nicer way to do it.
Yeah, it's nice to wake up, come downstairs, make a pot of coffee, and then have mom and dad roll out and have that coffee ready, have some bagels, just be able to sit around and have breakfast and feel almost like it would feel if we were in our own home.
And you know what we had that was really special? We had a porch swing.
Uh-huh.
We took photos on a porch swing.
Yeah?
Can I say something? Every one of them worse than the last. And I will say porch swings are wonderful. They take worse photos than you think. I think porch swings are good to take photos of children. I think for adults, it's just all thigh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
a real meaty, like a lot of meaty thighs in that photo.
I think I was standing off to the side.
You were smart. Point is, maybe you're someone right now who's listening, you're like, I got a porch swing. I've got one of these houses that has these little details, the details that I've put a lot of thought into, and maybe a family would like to come and stay at my place instead of at a hotel. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host.
Here we go.
Did you ever go overseas as a family? Did you guys ever go to Europe?
Not together. No,
Yeah.
we didn't have that kind of
Right.
like finances. But my mother took my sister to Rome when she was 13. And again, I just like these images of my, in the photo album with the plastic sheet over it, protecting but yeah, she took my older sister. No, we were strictly Caribbean.
Do you and Eric, and I should note your
Georgia.
husband Eric Slove.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to work with Eric at SNL. He's wonderful,
Yeah.
and please give him my love. But do you guys travel as a family well? The three of you?
Do we travel well?
Yeah.
Eric is amazing at the planning of trips and
He's the planner.
He's the planner. He's the deep dive internet guy on where to stay, what to see, what to do. So I happily let him take that lead. And sometimes we'll travel through, like work, and then we'll tack on stuff like, something after, that. But he's amazing at that. He's really good.
And you're comfortable sort of turning it all over? Or you presented a list of options?
No, I he'll run stuff by me, but I trust his taste. He's got really good taste, and I'm so happy for him to take that over. He's
That's
good
great.
at it.
Teenage daughter. So my question is, does she still like hanging out with you guys if you take a trip?
Yeah, she does. We just have one, and I think we get along really well. I mean, she's still sometimes we will take friends or her cousins with us. We did a trip out west riding horses, and one of my nieces came along. But she still likes us, I think. I think she thinks we're kind of cool, but we're definitely annoying. That's for sure.
I think every parent's annoying and not all parents are cool. So I think in the end, that's a win.
Yeah. Then definitely we're on track. We're on track.
Yeah.
And she's a great traveler. She does an adventure camp every year, and the destinations are getting more and more, they're longer trips. Like she wants to go to South Africa next summer, and this summer she got back from Belize and Costa Rica. And I was like, this is not Vermont. She's having a great childhood so far, I think, in terms of
How long is adventure camp? How long do you go?
She only goes for a couple of weeks. And as you get older, the week, maybe edges into like 3 weeks. But she loves traveling. She's not afraid to fly. She likes meeting new people and being outside her school world. And so that's amazing. I don't think I had that at her age, that curiosity. But I also had a built-in, sisters, cousins, kids on the block, playing. That even though we live in the city, we don't have that old world of go out and play, come home at dinner. And so she's with us a lot, but she's also, has these other worlds of travel and then school friends, and she plays sports. So she's got that group. So
when you take a horseback riding trip out west, my fiance is like, that's what she does professionally, is ride horses. And I always think like it would be good to do a trip like this, but I would worry about my physical, like getting on a bike 2 days in a row when you're not riding a bike can be painful. Like, so when you go on a horse trip, how is it getting on a horse the second day? Yeah.
You're definitely walking funny. We did a few years out in Montana. This kind of family camp it's so staggeringly beautiful out there. And again, in Georgia, She rode horses. She had more experience than me or Eric, and she wasn't afraid. So she'd be off in the faster group. Eric and I would do like the walk trot, walk trot club. And she was off with the younger kids, galloping.
Do they just kind of clock you when you walk into the ranch? Do they because I will say, I love Eric, but Eric, the first time I laid eyes on him, I would have said, you're walk or trot. I think trot's your ceiling.
Oh, yeah. Eric, I could ask him. He's in the kitchen. I hear him here now. He's a walker. He does not
look or sound like he came from horse people.
He did not come from horse people. But one thing I think is a nice surprise about Eric is that he's very athletic.
Yes, he is.
He is a really good athlete. And so he can navigate that horse pretty well.
I think there's a kind of New York guy that he is, that I feel like he grew up in an era where there was a lot of like sports outside, like that neighborhood thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
And they're guys that are surprisingly better at things like basketball and baseball.
Baseball was his thing.
They present, yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys play sports growing up?
Yeah, but I think suburban Little League where it was sort of the bar of entry was so low that you kind of feel like, I played baseball, and then you actually play with people who are good at baseball, and you realize.
Yeah. I played JV baseball, and then when it came time to maybe move up to varsity, it was like, oh no, this isn't going to happen for you.
And your parents would talk about things like, oh, I had to walk 5 miles to school, and uphill in the snow to get to school both ways, or one of those stories. Eric's version of that is when we were driving anywhere throughout the city, especially up the West Side Highway. He's like, I played baseball there. My team played there, but there was no grass. There was no grass. It was full of rocks. It was full of needles. And it was, that's his survival, 5 feet of snow. But he would play all over the city because his high school team. But he loved baseball. Loved it.
I think there's that thing, you have to really love to play baseball in New York City. You have to really love it. Whereas to play baseball in the suburbs, it's so easy. Your parents drive you, you go to a field, well manicured, you play, to pick you up. Whereas he had to go to Needle Park. You got to really love baseball.
He got mugged going and coming.
Right.
Took his lunch.
You had to keep $1 in your cleat. Just in case he got mugged.
Exactly. I think his father told him to always have extra money in case you get
it's the best.
Get mugged.
It's that thing of when people because obviously the national news will do it too, but it's New York's very unsafe right now, and I'm literally everyone I know who grew up here is we used to have 2 wallets.
Oh my God. I when I got out of high school and I started going on auditions in 1986 and down to Playwrights Horizons, and I was so excited to audition for a play, and I had to walk down 42nd Street and thick of the crack epidemic. It was scary. It was so scary, I also find it kind of equally as frightening because it's so crowded now. I'm like, what's worse? But
yeah.
But yeah.
And so you were how old were you when you got your first big job? Because you're out of high school. You went to performing arts high school, right?
I went to performing arts, which is now LaGuardia. I was 18. It was a few months after graduation. And I started working. And mostly in theater and all those beginning years. And then never, that was that. I was hooked. I was going to I was enrolled in NYU, but got that job of Biloxi Blues, Neil Simon play, and then I just never went back to school. Someday, maybe I will.
Yeah. Plenty of time. This is our parents, they were really great because, we grew up in New Hampshire, but they would bring us to Boston to see shows, and I remember seeing the trilogy of Brighton Beach Memoirs, and then I think we came to New York to see Biloxi Blues, and it was so exciting how they kept us interested in that sort of thing. Obviously, both professionally, but just as an audience was so exciting.
Yeah, Boston's a great town for theater and obviously music.
Yeah. And seeing things before they go to Broadway was so exciting.
Yeah. Did you guys grow up in a rural area, or were you in a town? Or
Yeah, pretty rural. I want to say our town is now 30,000 people, something like that, but it wasn't that at the time. So, I mean, it wasn't tiny, but it was woodsy and...
We were close to a farm. You know, it wasn't our farm, but, you know, we were a mile from a farm.
Are you near Lake Winnipesaukee?
No,
we're southern New Hampshire.
Yeah. But yeah, we know all about it.
To Lake Winnipesaukee people, we lived in a bustling metropolis.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Do you still travel with your sisters? Do you get together with your family? Do you guys do any family reunion kind of stuff? Or does Eric have siblings that you guys get together with?
Not really. I mean, we do for holidays, but mostly here in Brooklyn, Thanksgiving and things like that. My mother still travels. My mother's almost 83 years old, and she's at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival right now.
Get out of town.
She's with her pal Patty, and they're taking in some shows.
That's
amazing.
Yeah, she's the one. She has a really serious travel bug.
Now, is that her? Is it her or Patty that picks the Edinburgh Fringe Festival?
Her. It's my mom.
Wow,
that's my.
And she heard about it. Did she?
Yeah, she reads and she follows.
What a fantastic thing to end up on her radar as an 83-year-old.
I know. I mean, I haven't been yet.
Josh and I both performed at the Fringe back in the day.
Yeah.
I will say this. I hope it sounds like your mom is as hale and hearty, because I will say Edinburgh is one of the hilliest places to walk around.
Yeah, my mom is a cancer survivor not that long ago. Like she battled cancer last year, and it's not like I can't say she's hardy, but I would say she is
determined,
but optimistic, and you know, she's really just excited still by life and what she can do in it, and so no hill in Scotland's going to stop her.
That's fantastic.
Is it her first? Is it her first trip to Edinburgh, or is this a regular thing that she does?
No, it's first.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
Did you enjoy as much as? Did you have to do that thing where Eric told me this when he and Leo were there all the years ago. Like you'd stand out all night long and trying to get your audience in and
promote your
hand
own
out
show.
a card. Yeah. I imagine that's kind of almost as fun as performing it. This is a festival for those who don't know. There's all these shows, all this stand-up, all this theater, and it's so much competition for audience that basically, even though people are all in town for the festival, everybody with a show stands with a handful of flyers about their show and just tries to self-promote. And it was just, for me, so devastating to say to people, no, it's definitely worth it. And then my fear would be I'd see their face during the show that I was doing, and I'd register that they didn't think in the end it was worth it. What's
lied to them.
What's the smallest amount of attendance did you have?
I feel like we kind of kicked ass with our ticket sales. Like we filled houses.
We were
amazing.
We were part of this theater boom Chicago, so we had like a bit of a promotion arm behind us. Unlike, I'm sure when Sloven and Allen were there, they were just a self-run organization, and that was I mean, I once did a show in Chicago for 7 people, and with me and my partner Jill, and 5 of them were blood relations.
So yeah, but we also are the guy that ran the theater that we worked for. It was and was such a good salesman, and so he would sort of come up with a script that we would tell people on the street, and it would just work. He would say, like, "Do you want to see a 5-star show?" If we had like a review already from the Scotsman, and we could show them that. We would have tickets on us that a lot of shows would say, like, go to the box office, but we would buy tickets and then sell them to people on the street, which I don't know if you were supposed to be doing, but it all comes out in the wash.
You guys
And-
were the creative scalpers there.
Yeah.
We were.
And he would say, like,
Amazing.
do you want to see a great show? Like, if you like it, you can buy me a beer. If you don't like it, I'll buy you a beer, which sort of would stop people because everyone wanted a beer.
And his argument, too, is that no one will actually collect on that. No one will actually say after a show, I didn't like it, buy me a beer.
My mom's probably collecting on that now.
Yeah.
The Meyers brothers told me I could get a beer.
Yeah.
I didn't like your show.
I didn't
and I
like
want
it.
a beer. Well, I hope she has a wonderful time. Good on her for getting out there.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that age should not be a barrier to seeing new and cool things.
Absolutely.
By the way, very excited that you're finally working with Clooney and Pitt, with the three of you.
I figure if, this whole, I feel like there's such a shift going on in film and TV world. So if this is my last hurrah.
It will not be your last hurrah. But I will say the trailer, the movie is called Wolves. The trailer looks really delightful. I hope it was fun to make.
It was so much fun to make. It's a funny, tightly woven script. I expertly put together. John Watts, our director, writer, is amazing, and
he did those two, I think two terrific Spider-Man films.
Spider-Man, and this really beautiful independent film he did starring Kevin Bacon called Cop Car, which
I saw
really
Cop
recommend.
Car.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
And so we had a blast making this film. Shot primarily in New York City, and puts those two gentlemen back together, and they know what they're doing.
How
They're
happy are
experts.
you? How happy are you when it's a New York movie?
I'm thrilled, and I'll tell you a funny thing though. All my stuff are interior scenes, and I got flown to LA.
Sorry.
I know. The costume designer also lives in New York, and she texted me. She's like, "We're about to go to LA. Do you want me to do your fitting in New York so you don't have to come out sooner?" It's like, yeah, that's a dream. Thank you. Yeah. So, but I enjoyed when I do get to LA. Most of my friends have moved out there, so it's a great time to catch up with them, and and then when the work is fun, I don't mind being there.
Well, I can't wait to see it. We're going to let you go,
Thank
but
you.
first, Josh has some questions for you that we ask everybody on the podcast.
Okay.
All right, some quick questions here. You can only pick one of these. Is your ideal vacation relaxing, adventurous, or educational?
Relaxing.
What is your favorite means of transportation? Train, plane, automobile, boat, bike, walking?
Train.
Train. If you could take a vacation with any family, alive or dead, real or fictional, other than your own family, what family would you like to take a trip with?
The Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch, great.
Great.
I don't know.
No,
That's
Just because I want to be
excellent.
on an episode.
Yeah.
I want to eat
if-
beans out of a flashlight.
If you had to be stranded on a desert island with one member of your family, who would it be?
It would not be Eric, and I say this all the time because he doesn't understand portion control. I'm like, you ate all the blueberries. Why did you add? It's definitely not Eric, as much as I love him.
I have an Eric story based on food
Oh,
that I'll tell.
Okay,
It's
great.
one of my. It's more of a Will Forte story, but ask Eric later if he remembers this. Forte, Leo, and Eric were working on a sketch, probably The Falconer. It was a great SNL sketch that the three of them did. And Eric had ordered food, I think Chinese food, and it was taking forever to come. And he was complaining about how hungry he was and how long it was taking. And he kept checking with the interns. And basically, Forte and Leo told me it was just incessant how upset he was that the food was taking so long. And he was sitting at the computer, and then the food came, and the intern handed it, and Forte took it and walked right over to the window, opened the window, and dropped it out.
And what floor were you on?
yeah. What?
The 17th floor. And there was on the 11th floor, there was a landing. And it was late, so there was no fear that somebody would be out there. But it was a real, Forte would always raise the stakes higher than anybody thought was appropriate. But I remember their impression of Eric after he dropped it out was made me laugh harder than anything, which was just could not believe that he complained for 2 hours about his food and unfortunately dropped it out the window. All right, so no Eric.
No Eric. So who do you want to be on that desert island with?
Oh gosh. I probably my mom. She'd figure a way off that
based on what
island
I've
with
heard,
us,
she's a good
or
bet.
she'd keep it fun. Yeah.
And you're from Queens, correct?
Correct.
Would you recommend Queens as a vacation destination?
Well, yes, to get to one of the airports in order to leave it, for sure.
Seems
But
like a real.
that was
seems
the
like a
joke.
Lincoln
Like,
endorsement.
yeah, no. Oh, there's such a. I'm from Flushing, Queens, so you have to like square your shoulders when you tell people, this is a bad joke. Like, oh, did you ever hear of Flushing, Queens? Yes, sounds like a good idea to me. But I even looked up like, oh no, it's actually Vlissingen, which is the Dutch for salt meadows. Like the name is Vlissingen. No, but since I left Queens. Queens is amazing now. I mean, the most languages spoken in New York are spoken in Queens. It's a foodie destination. I think you can go to some pretty exciting like day spas, but I think there's a lot to do there. But if you're coming to New York for a very brief visit, maybe go there for food and hit the museums in Manhattan. How's that for maturity?
Excellent. Well played. And then Seth has our final questions.
Amy, have you been to the Grand Canyon?
I have not.
Do you want to go?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Are we going? Is this an invite?
We're putting you on a
family
list.
Camper?
You've entered a raffle by saying yes.
It's going to be me or Bobby Cannavale get the raffle.
One of you.
It's like one of you.
We're definitely bringing a legendary New York actor. It's gonna be one of you.
Fantastic. Okay. I hope I win.
So lovely seeing you as always.
Same.
Amy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Give my love to
here.
your whole family.
I will.
And congrats
Right back
with
to you.
Wolves.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.